8-year-old grandchild to do it. They seem to know all this stuff because they are wired for it. But at least you can begin to see you are far greater, and you're boundless. And this is where I want to take you. So how did I get this week into wanting to speak to you about these two things? 2, 3, 4 days ago, my lovely friend Robin in North Carolina called all excited. She had to share there was some free information coming down the pike about human design, and she had studied the gene keys with me. And she kind of sheepishly said, Elaine, the gene keys, they're just over my head. I can't do it. I can't get it. And she said, but I don't know. Have you ever heard of human design? It's amazing. It's fabulous. So some which way her frequency could align with this discipline. And that's what it's all about. Align with what you are comfortable with. And that tool will help you. You don't need every tool in the toolbox. Some of you may never need to use a wrench. Use a hammer. So use what tool is there for you. But she was so enthused about human design, and she was so amazed that I had indeed studied it, that of course it triggered me again to go, I got to go back into this stuff. This stuff was darn cool. And what does it have for me? And as I look back into my notes, of course, I had to look at every sibling, my son, everybody, because you understand them. And as my friend Robin said, wouldn't it have been fabulous if our parents could have known this and said to us, oh, this is the way your spirit will open up best. This is how you respond in life, instead of the criticism that a lot of us got, or perhaps the diminutive undermining. And I was criticized brutally for being overly sensitive, shy, retiring, to the point that I became just that. And now I understand, my pattern is just watch, just be the watcher. And you got it made in the shade, girl. Everything will come to you that you need. But my mother particularly she was the dominant force. So she was kind of the pusher of, oh no, Elaine, you've got to learn to speak up and sing out and put yourself out there. So indeed, at least thank God, it probably helped balance some of the things. My dad, of course, was the exact same pattern that I am. More the retiring one, the watchful one. And how helpful it would have been to hear both sides of that story. Wouldn't it be remarkable for you to give this gift not only to yourself, to your children? I got all jazzed again to give it to my grandchildren. So I kind of always apologize. I want to know. Half the tribe, more than half the tribe, simply doesn't want to know. But information like this is priceless for you. It is priceless. It'll help you stay centered no matter what happens in life. Before early this morning, I got a little information that was a little disturbing to me. It was for me, to me, about me. A little bit disturbing. Again, on the way up, when I wasn't thinking Sydney needs to not be so restless, the other thought that was permeating me was, relax, let it go. The me is false. There's only one truth. There's only one reality. Reality is unchanging. Reality is all-powerful. Reality can change the outer appearance if need be. So all the way up here, I gave myself that loving, constructive, centered inner talk. So Robin in North Carolina was the first that triggered that. And yesterday, again, I minded my own business, which is what a projector does best. and I get a very lovely, loving note from a friend who had studied the gene keys with me in Deerfield Beach a few years ago. So what happened in that mini incarnation, I fast forwarded and probably did not mention much of Human Design America. But if you are listening, Miss Deerfield Beach, you may want to backtrack and print out your human design pattern. That, coupled with the profile that you get for free with the gene keys, is, again, so helpful. And I'm going to give you the website to go to. Yes, I am, as soon as I find it, for the gene keys, because you can go on their website and just print out your profile. And why? It's like having your astrology chart. Why would you not want to have this information? Okay, I believe this is still the way to go. If you have any difficulty with it, email me. So my email, purpleportal777@gmail.com. But try this, Gene Keys Golden Path.com. All right, I'm going to take it slowly. Gene, Gene, Keys, Keys for Sam, so keys, plural. Golden, Golden, path, like a pathway, PATH.com. There is a simple way for you, again, you probably have to poke around and look for profile and print out your profile. It is astounding. So this beautiful gal in Deerfield, she's had some physical challenges that not many people would have agreed to. So right there, that says to me, this is an unusual spirit. And the walk she's walking is more challenging than most of us have to walk. Well, you know, look, I, who thank God, knock wood, have reasonably strong physical health, I wake up some days kind of melancholy, a little bit blue. So when somebody who is given life, to whom life has given many physical challenges, for that soul to wake up and feel either a little bit out of sorts, a little bit low, a little bit blue, holy smokes. Of course, this is, well, in my new study of living reality, here's how I would handle it. It's very, they simply accept it. They actually don't try to change it at all. Now, the gene keys and human design is a softening agent. Intellectually, I like it because, okay, life, you're going to soften it. But my nature sort of is inquisitive and says, how are you going to do this? And how can I help you? What can I do to help you? So she texted me that the 47th gene key was like calling to her, and she couldn't find her, couldn't find her book. If you can't find your book, let me know. There'll be about $26 in postage, and they will be out tomorrow. So we got the goods. We got the book. And incidentally, you know, a book like this kind of comes in waves. The Barnes & Nobles don't carry this kind of material. The frequency is too high-pitched for 99.9% of their customers, and they know that. I actually had to go to California, to the finest metaphysical store in Northern California, to align with the energy of the gene keys in the first place. So good luck. I mean, sure, you can Amazon it and all that stuff, but they too may or may not have it. But I've got it for you. So the 47th gene key for my beautiful friend, the shadow. You see, it talks about the shadow and the way the gift that comes from the shadow, and then like what they call the siddhi, SIDDHI, which The Elaine translation is like the super gift. So my beautiful friend woke up feeling oppressed. And certainly at this point, those of you who are listening, every single one of us have had that sense of sorrowful oppression. It is such a heavy sensation. It lands on you like the heaviest cloud possible. And then what this key counsels is the transmuting of it, and then the complete transfiguration. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this 47th key, because it's no accident that a beautiful soul in Deerfield thought she needed this, but she could just have been the one who's the carrier, because you need it and I need it. So this key, the shadow, provides us with one of the greatest keys to the mystery of suffering. So what this key does is it taps into all of our suffering. Within this key lurks a vast reservoir of darkness in the form of inheritable ancestral anguish. Now I'm going to give you an example of how I have seen this play out on more than one occasion. I have worked with some women on and off throughout the years, on and off throughout my time with the Gene Keys, who have sort of undefined, deep sorrows and things not quite right within their psyche, which cause deep, deep sorrow, I have to say. And on every occasion, in the midst of the consultation, it dawned on me to ask, did you lose someone in the death camps in Europe? And every single time they had. So the dear souls now, who perhaps it was basically a grandparent, it wasn't even a first generation. Ordinarily it was a grandparent or an aunt, but mostly a grandparent. So this key taps you in to that anguish because it's in our genes. Because the 47th shadow is the storehouse of human karma. So what happens generationally is we're trying to release the tragedy that has occurred on this particular playing field of existence. So when someone has this as their gene key, this becomes a life work to keep almost outgassing the suffering and the memory, releasing the memory. And the only way you actually get to release a memory is not by remembering it, it's by staying present. Because only in the present can you be properly oriented to presence. And in presence, the paradox is there's nothing to release. So you see, there's a huge paradox contained in this moment. Many, many people get, going down the pathway of reincarnation and I must have done this or somebody did that. Well, that's all well and good, but the paradox is ultimately the memory must be dropped. Because if not, you're going to carry that suffering. And suffering then, here's the danger, it's passed on genetically through your blood to your children, to your children's children. It goes on 7 generations. So I'm always one who says the buck stops here. That's why this living reality has become my life force. It shows me I've got to stay present. I